The low-profile, flexible Bunker Kings command goggle provides optimal coverage, unprecedented breathability, superior vision, and supreme comfort. I'm Maximus Lundqvist, founder and president of Bunker Kings, and I'm excited to show you my new creation.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 184 of the Maritime Paintball Podcast. My name is Brad Riddell. With me, I have Max. I can't pronounce your last name. I tried. I listened to the video, and I was just like, I'm going to try, and I'm not going to because I'm going to butcher the hell out of it. So, why don't you tell the folks who you are so I don't ruin it?
Hi, my name is Max Lundqvist. Same as the goalie of Rangers, Lundqvist. Big fan of paintball. Been playing for a really long time.
Whoop! Hold on, losing my mic. Max, you're coming in a little quiet. I don't know if you can.
There we go. Better now?
That's better. There we go.
Awesome. Maximus Lundqvist here. Big fan of paintball. Played for 27 years. Professionally for 20 years.
Damn.
And played for a bunch of fun teams like Joy Division Stockholm, Russian Legion, New York Ground Zero, New York Extreme. Started New York Extreme a long time ago. Played for a bunch of different teams and traveled the whole planet doing this wonderful sport. Founded a paintball technique and actually started the concept paintball schools together with my dear friend Pete, Mr. U, Utchik, a long time ago in New York. So that's a little bit of my paintball history. A little bit of it.
So you played professionally longer than majority of the people watching this have been playing the sport in general, and that's awesome. 20 years, man, 20 years. So how did you get started playing professional? Did you just wake up one day and be like, I'm going to play pro, I'm going to start at like the rookie circuit and work my way up? Or was it, were you playing in a field and somebody was just like, you come with me?
We loved it from day one, my brother and me, and pretty quickly we got the idea that actually we heard from someone that you can compete in paintball. So first time we went, we got completely destroyed. And
nice.
Lost every single game, but then we tried it again and we did really good. And so we went to another tournament, and in that tournament we actually won. Like we even beat like some of the best teams in Sweden, and that's when I think that was when Magid Idris saw my brother and me play and actually asked us to join his team, Joy Division, which was like as much pro as you could be in Sweden. So played with that team for a really long time, and at that time there was like there was pro and amateur, but it wasn't like it was all so new, the sport, so it's kind of like hard. I think it was like we just saw like the magazines with the UK Predators, and you saw not Bob Long's Iron Man, but you saw Iron Man, the team with Dave Youngblood and all those legends. And you wanted to be like that. You just looked at magazines.
Wow. You wanted to be like the hero. You wanted to be like the people on the magazines. Who doesn't, right? That's what everybody strives for.
Exactly, the next step. Always trying to take it to the next level. And then a bunch of things led to we just started competing over in England, and we joined a couple of competitions there. We actually beat UK Predators, which were my heroes, and we actually beat them in the first airball game ever. It was like we went and played half of the games in the woods, and half of the games were at an airball field, and we actually played my heroes, and we managed to beat them, which was unbelievable. They won the whole pro event. We won the whole amateur A, which was the level beneath pro. But still, we got to, back in the days, you played teams that weren't in your division. So you played like every division played each other throughout the prelims, and then towards the semis and the quarters and semifinals and finals, you played only the ones that were in your same division. So you actually got to play pro teams back then, which was awesome. That we got to play UK Preds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you played everybody. That's wild. Damn.
And to kind of like round it off a bit, I got a chance to play in the US for an amateur B team, which was D2 then, I guess. 2 divisions beneath that.
So how does that work? How did you come over from Sweden to the US to play like D2? Like, how does that, did you just like drop everything and just be like, I'm moving to the US to play paintball? Or did you just show up for like just like the season kind of thing and like play and then piece back out?
No, that was one of the many things that led to me playing professionally, because my brother moved to New York to start working there, and so he kind of dropped paintball for a couple of years, and I kept competing in Europe and playing a bunch there. So then he got back into it. It was at the same time as the Angel came out, which was the first electronic marker.
Oh man, the Angel, that was, whoa.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Such a crazy game changer when that gun came out. So I sent him one, and he started playing around the New York area, and met some guys. I gave him some contacts from some cool New York players that I met over in England at I think it was called Maya, the tournament. And so he started playing with them, and it ended up, it was New York Ground Zero, GC, which was which he contacted and started practicing with, and that's how we got into, competing with their third team, which was the amateur B team, Ground Zero. I think they were called New York GC Silver. And so we're here in New York. We are about to practice the weekend before the event up at Newburgh, the paintball field there. And so I'm about to play for the amateur B team with my brother, but then the pro team lost a player. So they had seen me play over in Europe at the Mayhem Masters over in England, and they liked how I played. So they ended up asking me if I wanted to play on the pro team instead of the amateur B team. And I said, hell yeah.
No, I can't, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do it. That's wild, dude. That's crazy story, man. Like, it's awesome hearing the different ways people get into where they've gotten in the sport. A couple people had some questions they wanted to ask. They were back here in the chat somewhere. Taylor wants to know, what's your favorite position to play and your favorite marker?
Front is like, I'm just natural front guy. Unfortunately or fortunately, sometimes I'm almost 6'4". So I think I learned how to play tight from playing in the woods, because sometimes you only have this little rock to play against. To play behind, and you just have to super small. It was like paint spraying in from everywhere, and you like had to get super tight and like
Right, become one with the tree. You're trying to just like, if I turn sideways, I can. Yeah.
Seriously, it was like that. So I think the woods ball taught me how to play like super tight, and playing a bunch of small indoor fields during the winter in Sweden when it was like freezing cold. And in the indoor fields, it was like that. You like hung back and you just got completely destroyed, or you just went for it.
You're gonna get destroyed either way. You might as well get destroyed and get a cool story out of it.
I think that's how it was. And it was like old parking garages, old like
Nice
warehouses. It was like all concrete floors. It was like super slippery. You had to like put socks on top of your shoes to get some kind of traction. And so
that's awesome. That is
we just used
perfect.
to like against each other, like pretty much on this like one side each of a wall, So we were like 3 feet from each other sometimes when we played, and just like boom. So I think that like kind of like took all the fear out of the game for us. It was so easy for us to play on outdoor fields after that, because it was so unscary compared to playing in these small like.
Yeah, I could totally see that. That makes total sense. What's your favorite marker?
Favorite marker, okay.
Let's go with current, because you've got like 20 plus years of favorite markers. So what's the current go-to right now?
I think, right now, it's definitely my prime. Yeah, I'll show it to you. It's my Mac Dev Prime.
True paintballer right here. His marker's always within reach. He's just like, yeah, hold on, let me grab that.
I got masks. Always everything in reach. So
nice.
I'll show it to you. It's a one of a kind.
Is that? So that's what Bunker King's logo in like Louis Vuitton style.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that is sexy.
Thank you, sir. I had a broken thumb for like 6-7 weeks. So I don't know if you can see it, but
yeah, it looks a little bold.
Here, I'll show you. This is a fun little thing. A little bit disgusting, but fun.
Oh, let's see it.
Here, this thing was sitting through my thumb, like all the way into like center of the bone. So I just pulled it out, or actually the doctor pulled it out. It was like way in there.
Wait, so is that like the pin that was holding your thumb together, or is that what broke your thumb?
Holding the bone together.
Oh, okay.
So it's definitely stainless, rust free. But it was so odd. Like I took the cast off, right, and it was so disgusting.
I bet. Oh
it
man,
was so disgusting. Do you think we have a lot of viewers that do not want to see disgusting things, or do you want to see?
I don't know. My viewers tend to be pretty. I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of it. I think they can handle it. If they can't, they'll leave.
In Sweden, we call it strong-stomached.
Yeah, I'm hoping Tim. I'm not sure about Tim. Tim might have. Woo!
That's how it looks. That's tough.
You can hang keys from that.
And then they went.
Oh, damn, dude, that's brutal.
Yeah, it was. So.
Dr. Rush over here is just like, show us the hardcore shit. Like, let's do this. That's brutal, man. That's wild.
Yeah, I took it off. I was like, it's like one of the few times where you like feel like, how am I gonna handle it?
Wow.
So, but it healed up good.
You'd never know that you had a chunk of metal sticking out of your hand for,
That's why I'm holding like one of these rubber bands, because I'm like trying to like get back to playing again.
Okay, yeah. Gotta get that strength back.
It's so funny. Like during my 27 years of paintball, I hurt myself pretty bad one time, and it was like pulled one of my
Nice.
like after, and it was during the first X-Ball event ever in Pennsylvania. We had no idea what X-Ball was all about, and it was 4 15-minute quarters, and the 26th time that I ran to the corner against France, 26 times, I think the score was like, final score was like 22-12 or something. We beat them.
Wow.
The 26th time running to the corner is like, I like pulled a muscle. But that's the only injury. That's the only injury in like 27 years. Okay, scraping my elbows and stuff.
Oh, that's
like
not
that.
an injury. Come on now. Scraping
No,
your
no, no.
elbows. That's
The best thing was when you scraped your elbow, there one, and then you got like this scab on, right? And then you pulled your elbow pads on, and you had like sand between.
That's. I did something similar longboarding. I ended up with almost shattering my arm, and then all here there was asphalt embedded into my skin.
Oh.
And it was like, as it was healing, I was able to like pick little pieces of asphalt out of my arm. Hurt like hell.
But what I was gonna say is also there, 27 years of paintball. That's the worst injury I got, and now I mountain bike for like 2 years, like downhill and enduro and so on. And I've been to the hospital like 3-4 times this summer. No, actually, yeah. With this, I was at the hospital like 3-4 times, and then concussion. So paintball is such a great sport in so many ways.
Yeah. There we go, kids. You heard it. You heard it there. Play paintball. You won't get hurt as much.
Yeah, and make sure a big tip to all your paintballers out there that you really like get your shoulders strong and try to really work on those slides before you go out and go full speed. There's so many people just go out and slide, but they forgot to practice that like probably one of the most important things to do to not get injured. I see so many popped shoulders, and sprained wrists and so on. So maybe they did in paintball. They do exactly what I did on the mountain bike. I went too hard, I think, too fast.
Yeah, just push the boundary just a little too hard, eh?
Exactly. That combined with a rear shock snapped in half, that caused me my fall, which caused
a
broken thumb. So the rear shock went boom in the landing.
I mean, if your rear shock explodes and the only thing you walk away with is a broken thumb, that's not that bad.
You can see the fall on Bunker King's Instagram. It's probably.
Oh man,
like
I'll have to go check that out. I don't know if you noticed, Greg was in here. Greg Hastings. He's just basically screaming online, basically saying, "This is my teammate of many years." So many people may not know that, but Greg and Max here were teammates.
It's so funny. Like I would rock like Greg and me. We've been on so many adventures. He's such a great dude and probably one of the funniest people I ever met. And he's so cool. And he started Red's the paintball brand. Yeah. And he was a huge inspiration for my brother and me actually starting Bunky Kings. And we actually bought a bunch of neoprene from him and put in our headbands, our original headbands, had the Greg Hastings or Red's neoprene in it. So it's like such a cool thing, I would say. And we rocked like the Greg Hastings. We like this, like it's such a cool time of paintball.
That's wild. That's really cool. Like the idea that Greg inspired you guys to create Bunker Kings. That's wild.
And it was so cool. Like being with Greg Hastings just had so much energy, but it's so energetic. It's such a powerful person who just like kept pushing us and yeah, it was like so inspiring to hang out with him. Yeah, I think he
Oh
was
yeah.
one.
When I first met Greg, I was kind of intimidated by the energy. I was just like, damn, like this dude is intense. Heart of gold though. Love seeing him when I run across him in Ontario. It's always fun. He's a good guy.
He used to be in submarines in the Navy. So, like the hardcore dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Absolutely. It's yeah. He's a hardcore dude. He's done
and
more, tried more, failed more, succeeded more than most people will ever do in a
eggs.
lifetime.
That's a very good way to put it. Tried more, succeeded more. Had some tough times, but always came back up.
Well, you know what, and that's the secret, right? It's all about that grind because you're not going to be successful day one. There was a thing I read. I can't remember where it was. I can't remember where I read it. Basically, it said if you're not embarrassed of where you came from, you didn't grow.
Exactly.
Right? And I was just like, wow, that was really cool. And then I looked back at like old podcasts, and I was like, wow, I'm really embarrassed of like the last year of podcasting.
And embarrassed, but also like enjoying the progress, right? And
Yes,
and
yes, absolutely.
and the progress comes from. I need to say this quote because I'm from Sweden, where IKEA is from, and the founder of IKEA is one of my idols actually, because he's such an amazing. So he's dead since a year, so rest in peace in our company. But it's a little quick reminder for everyone to just not be afraid of being vulnerable. Vulnerability is one of the biggest keys to progress, to develop. And he said, Ingvar Kamprad said, the only times you cannot make a mistake is when you're sleeping. So, and he also says that he's probably done more mistakes than anyone in the whole world, and he created all of IKEA, which is like one of the biggest.
And that's the thing. People don't see that, right? They don't look at Bunker Kings, right? Somebody finds you today. They've never heard of Bunker Kings before. They're going to look at that. All they see is right now. They see the success right now. They don't see the trials and the setbacks and the speed bumps and everything that gets in the way, right? They don't see that because it's in the past, right? You learn from it, you grow from it. All they see is just
that's sleepless nights.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Finding all the mistakes that you made and like, and then you don't need to deal with them and not take them too hard. Actually, realizing that those mistakes were a must, or like you said, the speed bump on the road to where you are today, and hopefully you're doing better today than you did yesterday, and improve a little by little. A good friend has something in his office, and it says like, get 1% better today. Get it like slowly instead of I want it all now. It just becomes like a burden to you if you try to progress too fast. It's like, oh, why haven't I progressed this much? Why isn't my company big enough? Why isn't my paintball so much better already? That just hinders you from I think that weight of anxiety, or like the stress of not progressing fast enough just holds you back.
It definitely does.
It makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. If you try to run before you can walk, you're just going to trip.
Yeah. But
right?
The reason why I'm saying that and why we're talking about this is, I think, is because today's society has so much like instant gratification. You have to get solved right now. You have to like do that click and get satisfied. It's like, we're forgetting how much it takes to get to where you want to be, and realizing that it's all a trip. That your whole life is just like a long journey of different like steps where you get to, and if you try to get too far up, you get there, and if you get there too fast, you're not going to enjoy what's the next step, because we always want to progress, and if we get to somewhere too fast, what's the next step? And then it's like really enjoy, and I think that's one of the reasons why my brother and me got really good because we enjoyed the grinding. We really enjoyed like snap-shooting each other in the face a million times, like just trying to beat each other, just grind and grind and grind and grind. And I think that's a little bit lost today. That has gotten a little bit lost today to really go to the field and work really, really hard on every single little detail and realizing, knowing that that's what it takes to, if you really want to go pro, if you really want to get to the top, you're gonna have to.
You're gonna have to train. You're gonna have to work hard. That ties in really well. Taylor asking a question: if you can give any advice to a woods ball player who wants going and playing speedball or airball, like any advice to give like a woods ball player who wants to try speedball?
The biggest difference with woods ball and speedball is that your techniques really, really matters a lot, and you're more hidden in the woods. In the woods. So, but on the speedball field, you're very like exposed, and it's very important to be very good at communication, actual team playing team. So, I think if you go to the speedball field the first time, try to like really talk to the guys that you would play with, because you're most likely going to go to a walk-on, which is a bunch of a mix of a bunch of different players. So kind of like before you go on the field, just don't go on the field and be part of a team where you don't really know the names, the guys you're going to play with. You don't really have a game plan, and if you do that, you might probably end up getting smashed by like some local team that's used to playing together, because that's what it's called. Like, oh, we go play walk-ons, and your team just plays a bunch of different people, and they get beat up on a lot because they don't have any communication, have any plan. So taking those 5-10 minutes to just get to know people and be a little bit forward going and talk to them and kind of like talk about what the strategy could be, really learn their names so you can talk to them as you're playing, and also discuss maybe why you lost a point, for example. Like if you played a point and you lost it, why did we lose it? What happened? Oh, we lost on the snake side. Oh, you guys gotta play better on the snake side, is what a lot of people say. But this is a huge part of it. Becoming a better Paintball player is being a good team player. And that takes a lot of. You need to be really humble and really like put your ego to the side and try to calm yourself down from all the adrenaline of getting shot 5 times in the side because the other side lost the battle completely, so that the team could come around and shoot you in the side. So I think that's a huge part. Like go for yours. Like don't be too soft, but still like really listen to everyone's opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a long answer for.
No, that works. That's, you know what, that is some advice that a lot of people need to hear. That, like I said, when you play a walk-on.
And one last thing, one thing that really helped us on Joy Division out a lot is that we grinded techniques. You can do that at home in front of your mirror. Make sure your marker is not loaded, and just like look, put a piece of tape up on the mirror and pretend that piece of tape is the side of your bunker. And then you can like see yourself. You aim at your own barrel, and you place yourself inside the tape instead of working on like, how am I going to get out of the bunker? You see yourself so you can fix whatever you did wrong. So easy to fix what you see. And if someone tells you something like, I don't understand what he's trying to fix, you might think, but when you see it yourself, it's super easy.
So by putting that tape there, That's actually a really cool idea. I'm going to try that because it sounds like you'd be able to see what part of you leaves the bunker first
Exactly.
and learn to adjust so that it's your marker and then your eyes before like your elbow or something.
Exactly. So, and you can also teach yourself to get, I call it the magic line. It's what it's a line from you, but from your opponent to the outside of the bunker. And you can kind of teach yourself to get really work close to that, be as close as possible to that line without sticking out, like you said, elbow, elbow, whatever. And also to fine tune movement, because what you do is you get that barrel just outside the piece of tape, and remember to aim inside your own barrel, because otherwise it doesn't become accurate, right? Or like a good drill. And then you roll out and all the time trying to aim inside your barrel. And as soon as the barrel is a little bit outside the tape, like maybe an inch, that's when you start going in again. And that way you can fine tune.
Okay, so you should almost be expecting to possibly hit the bunker once, maybe twice, just to make sure that you're already balls down range kind of thing.
I try to work on like trying not to shoot too much before. And,
okay.
And the work on that in front of the mirror, the more prepared you're going to be to getting to the speedball field. And speedball is such a different dimension paintball compared to woods ball. So I highly recommend it, trying it for woods ballers. And I highly recommend speedball players trying woods ball as well, because there's so much you can learn from both parts of paintball, which will bring a lot. For example, a speedball player that has only played speedball will go out and just scream and shout and shoot and maybe not communicate so much. But when you go out into the woods, you have to start like listening. You have to like try to see so much more. You start using more of your senses, and like just listening has helped me so much in paintball. There's so many times I bunkered guys on the other side of my bunker because I actually listened. And I kind of even heard, like, this sounds like some crazy Indian stuff, but I actually like felt like the ground kind of moving when people come and try to bunk you or whatnot. And when you stay open like that, you can actually win. There's so many times people try to bunker me and I came up and like popped over the top and got them before they could get to me.
That's awesome.
I learned how to, and also because of John Rambo being one of the biggest teenage idols. Sylvester Stallone. First blood. Best one ever.
Step one to learn to be a paintballer. Watch Rambo. Learn from Rambo.
Dude, seriously.
We're going to have the next generation of paintballers. They're going to be hitting the field, just like smearing their masks with mud. And they're just like going to head out into the field.
Huge Rambo knives and just out into the woods and do traps.
So the guys, everyone in the comments is kind of blowing up right now. They're loving the fact that you're basically like spilling the pro secrets right now. And Tim Banks is excited. He was expecting just to hear all about the mask, and he's like, "Oh, these lessons are awesome." So they really do appreciate you teaching him some cool tricks. The tape on the mirror, that is something that I'm going to try. That sounds that is like
so if you see my nose now, right? Okay, so I'll put my head inside. Imagine the marker being my nose, and then like roll out. And now my nose, the barrel, is like right outside, bam, bam, and then I roll in. So when everything is inside, I can see that everything is inside.
Yeah, and you can tuck in properly and get that muscle memory to know where to put everything.
The best snap shooter in MPPL as it was at the time was our snake player, and he did this a couple of times per day for years. There was no one that could touch him. Like if he was alone in the 1-on-1, we just started filming pods and stuff for the next point because we knew we already won it. It was like
Nice.
It was like no way that we could lose. He didn't lose one single. I think he maybe lost one out of 61, and that was like
wild.
pure luck. It was like the wind or the rain or there was something.
The ball ricocheted off a bunker and cut in hard left or something behind the bunker and took him out. Like it's
I think it was a bounce ball or something.
Right.
So it's highly efficient.
That's awesome. I'm gonna try that out. I had some questions actually about your mask. Speaking, somebody mentioned the mask. So let's talk about that because this is some pretty wild stuff happening, right? So we got this new mask coming out, the Command or the CMD. One, it looks absolutely amazing. Just so sharp. Look at that. Like I'm loving that black and gold, but that blue, I'm just like I'm gonna need like 3. I'm gonna need a couple.
Jacob Edwards was rocking this at World Cup, and I think Tommy Tucker had this one as well today.
Wow.
From Uprising, and yeah, I'm kind of like torn as well. Would I like a brighter one or a more dark one? A lot of people tend to like the dark one.
I think it's the gold accents on the black mask is what's doing it for me. That is, I can already tell there's like 3 guys in Nova Scotia that would want that green one, the green and purple.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I already know of a bunch of people that are just like that's their colors. That's what they'd go for immediately.
Can I tell you the story about this color combination?
Yeah. Let's hear it. Let's hear the story.
Okay. Breaking Bad. We made a pack in this color combination, and we call it Heisenberg from the TV show Breaking Bad. Heisenberg was the name of the main dude in Breaking Bad, and he's like was one of the most like bad, like he's hardcore Heisenberg. So kind of reminded us of the show, and we were watching it all the time. Everyone's like went crazy for Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, it was a full blown cultural phenomenon.
Exactly. So the original color combination, purple green, called Heisenberg. The black and gold. Let me dig deep here in my wardrobe here. So I'll show you why.
Oh, he's going behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, who knows what's going to come back out?
Yeah. Oh, no. I don't have it hanging here, but I'll show you a different thing where that inspiration comes from, of course, from
like
the
it.
Joy Division.
Right? You got to accessorize. You got to match. Right? It's got to be right. The better you look, the better you play. That's just how it goes. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
We're definitely on Joy Division. Some of the few guys on the planet that feel comfortable in leopard.
Hey, nothing wrong with leopard print, man. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's so funny. It's like so timeless. We started it in '97, I think. The leopard jerseys, and it's just worked forever. It's still I really like that natural pattern. They will, I think, like zebra, tiger, crocodile, snake skin.
Yeah. Oh,
leopard.
Snake skin would be snakeskin pod pack. That'd be the way to do it.
I'm writing that down.
Right? I'll race you. I'll see if I can make one faster. We'll see what happens. So we had some questions about the mask. Why crowdfund? Why did you go through crowdfunding?
Okay, here's a little interesting thing that I learned during production and product development.
It costs lots of money.
Costs a lot of money, especially a product like this costs extreme amounts of money and ridiculous amounts. Did you say amounts or amount of time?
I bet.
So, oh man, we started like a year ago with all the drawings and sketches and things like that, and counting to like getting to where it is today is like almost. I think you forget throughout the journey, and I think it's like a natural thing, like a human thing, to not look back and say like and think like, oh, we spent way too much time on this. Because I think in our human nature we're just programmed to keep going and going and going and going, so we get to the goal, so we can survive. Oh, I'm going to build a trap to get meat. Oh, if you're halfway through it, stop being like, oh, this is taking way too much time. Oh, we spent way too much time on this. Then you stop, right? And then you can't catch.
It's only wasted time if you quit.
Exactly. It's only wasted time if you quit.
Yeah,
that's
you just got to push through.
Great way of looking at things.
Yeah.
So to answer your question regarding crowdfunding, it's that the amount of money and also time, which is money, in when it comes to working time, it was such a risk to do a product like this. The packs, I could kind of go and sample and just pay for the flight to go to the factory and develop it together with my partners at the factory, and it wasn't a big cost. But here's like huge scary cost.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like it's like because those masks, are they injection mold?
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting those molds manufactured is, I don't even want, like, that's terrifying. So
yeah, it would definitely ruin you completely. Unless you're a big company that can throw around a lot of cash, which we are. So.
Yeah, but that's no fun.
And I mean, one thing that this has done to me is it's completely like not changed, but it really opened my eyes. And I'm so happy to see that how much of that support and love is still out there for okay, sorry to talk, for me and for the brand, and it's just been huge, like.
Yeah, well, there's obvious support for you, because I'm looking at your Kickstarter page, and there was a goal of just shy of 20,000 Canadian, and right now the Kickstarter's sitting at 241,000 and change. Like, that is wild.
100 US, I think it's 185.
Yeah.
Or 182, 183, I think something like that. But it's
and that's just for a mask. Like that is a huge amount of support for.
Yeah. It's so funny. We started it like on a Monday, released it on a Monday, and then I worked till like 4 o'clock at night for 5 days straight, just talking to people on People Nation, Facebook, Instagram. Talk. Just wrote people like I couldn't stop. It's like it felt like it had
it'd be a little overwhelming.
Everybody, I was like, I cannot miss any question, and it was so cool to feel that support and to talk.
That's awesome.
There's so many super cool people that helped me out with like answering questions for other players that were asking. So I was like, yeah, it's so amazing. And John, my good friend John Dresser, I actually played together with Team Evil. Like, John Dresser, the EV Nation helped me out. tremendously. He was like such a huge help. So big thanks to John Besser and for all the good stuff he does with PB Nation and support live and growing and so on. So could not have done that without huge support from so many people. So to all of you guys out there, thank you so much. It's been a fantastic ride and scary and and fun and hard. It's been a lot of work. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's big shout out to everyone who's helped you out, who backed you, who saw, especially anybody who saw this Kickstarter and was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm going in, and they threw down the cash. Big shout out to them, because if any sport loves to sit back and just shit talk everything, it's paintball. Right? Because there's a legion of people right now sitting at their computers, at their keyboards, waiting for your mask to come out to find one tiny little thing wrong with it and just tear it apart.
Yeah, I wonder what that is. Why we're so, like, in any other sport, or you would get your equipment and there would be something wrong with it, of course, but you would accept it more. But in paintball, it's like, oh, maybe it's because it's some kind of like hunting, and it's so important for us that everything is like perfect. I don't know, like what
Maybe.
it is, or if it's so competitive. Like, are you trying to like you're trying to shoot us? We're gonna shoot you. It's like such a serious sport, in that sense. Like, it's really a battle. Like, but for real, we have markers. We're like trying to shoot each other.
Yeah,
so.
it's definitely, for sure. That adrenaline gets pumping. That aggression gets there.
That's why we get very critical to other teams, other products, and so on.
Yeah. I mean, you see it all the time of people especially on social media, and they'll just be like, hey, what's the best marker? And then all hell breaks loose because everybody from the, comes out of the woodwork of, my marker's better than yours because of this, that, and the other thing. And it's just exhausting.
And then after you played for 20 years, you don't care anymore. You just, does it shoot?
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does it protect my eyes? Cool. No, sorry, not when it comes to mask. I always been, when it comes to having a clean barrel, like making sure you don't have any paint, because that's gonna affect how your paintball goes. Just a little bit of spin on that paintball is gonna put your shot off. And then also having a clean lens. I remember I bought a Vents Predator. It was a super cool mask that, of course, UK Predators was using. And I bought it with thermal lens, and it was more expensive than my marker at the time. So like a good mask, good vision, and no fog has been a huge thing for me, like since day one.
Absolutely. Always go with a good mask, right? In worst case scenario, the marker breaks down, you could throw a paintball.
Yeah, pretty much you can. But what I think about the markers, they're all so good nowadays. So it's more like, how does it feel when you shoot? Like, they all shoot fantastic.
Well, but that's just it, right? If you're looking at anything from mid-range and up, so excluding the Walmart and other, like the Amazon stuff, excluding the low end gear, if you go mid-range or higher, odds are it's a good marker. Maybe it doesn't have this super fancy LED screen and the Bluetooth connection to your phone and all that jazz, but it's probably a decent marker. I've seen some guys do some serious damage with markers from like the mid 90s.
And here's something that I realized when I started with mountain biking, is that I wanted to get a better bike, and more expensive bike, and so on. And I thought that was going to be like, I really thought that was going to make me a better biker. And I think the same thing happens in paintball, because since I gotten free markers since like 98, pretty much, I got so used to like getting the best markers possible for free all the time. But what I want to say now is that if you're getting into the game, or if you want to go from woods ball to speedball and so on, please do not waste all your money on a new marker, because I see this happening time after time when they spend all this money on a new marker and then they end up quitting paintball after a couple of months or 6 months because they don't have any money left. So buy a used one, buy a mid-range, buy something like you said, like mid-range and up, and you can find such a great market for pretty much nothing.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you buy a used one.
yeah.
And
You
then
don't have to drop $1,000.
exactly, and then you can spend it on on paint and field entry and so on, and really enjoy and get to play a lot instead of just like, oh, all my money's gone. Now I can't
Right?
play.
Yeah, yeah. Come play paintball. I can't. But you brought a new marker. I know. I got no money for paint. It's like it's.
Yeah, and that drive to get that like super expensive marker is huge. So you really have to hold yourself back and like, no, spend your money wisely and correctly. So
Yes, absolutely. Skill outweighs a marker any day. If you know what you're doing, you can do some damage with anything.
yeah.
And one of the questions too was what that I wanted to ask. What do you see as player trends? Like, do you see any trends in the industry right now that maybe your pro eyes can see that ours can't? Like, are you seeing anything in the market that's happening or noteworthy?
I see a lot of imitation happening. Like everyone's like trying to like not really try to think how can we make this better. They just try like, oh, what are they doing? And then they try to do the same. We got to be exactly like that company and so on, instead of trying to move forward. And also, so that I would like to see a little bit more, hopefully see the trend changing a bit. And maybe I think we think too much like, oh, there's nothing new to come up with because everything has been thought of. And it is a lot harder today to come up with something new than it used to be. Um, so it is a little bit harder, but I would really like to see people trying a little bit harder to come up with new cool stuff. And also a trend that I see, which is a little bit scary, is that and I've seen it a couple of times throughout my history, is that some companies become very powerful and they become owners of leagues, and which if you're not too naive, you're going to realize that when big companies become owners of leagues, it's for one reason, and it's to grow their business and make more money. And I think that's very scary when that happens. I think it helps a lot because they throw in a lot of money into the sport, and they work hard on making it bigger. But when the goal is to just make more money for themselves or the company, because it is in the long run, it's not going to be good for the sport in the long run. Like imagine if Nike owned the NFL or the NHL, and then
I see what you're saying. Yeah, they can
Nike swooshes everywhere on everything. It's like that wouldn't work.
Yeah. No, I definitely see what you're saying, and I could definitely see that happening for sure with a couple of companies right now that are getting pretty big.
Yeah,
and they can do some good. They can also do a lot of damage. They got to try to like walk that line, right? Because I get it. At the end of the day, you got to make money because you got to pay your employees, and it's running a business. But you also got to weigh like, are you going to be shooting yourself in the foot long term? Is this like short term profits and then long term collapse kind of thing, or are you weighing it properly?
Are you going to be happy with $10 million, or do you really need $100 million, or do I need $1 billion?
Yeah.
Like when are you happy? And that's the scary thing with the humans, is that we are never happy. We always try to go for the next thing. So I see it in a lot of rich people that I know that it's like you're never happy. You just want the next thing, right? So even if you have your $10 million, you want the next 100.
Yeah, you want 20 million, you want 50 million, you want 100 million. Yeah. So there was a question asked further back that I totally forgot to ask. Steve's asking about that leopard print pod pack. He's asking where can we get it? He wants one.
That's a prototype, but they should be out in the beginning of next year, for sure.
Awesome. Just on Bunker Kings, bunkerkings.com?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, so keep an eye on that. And then he had another question here. Where'd he go? So bring back the WKS sunglasses.
Oh, that's I actually met a guy Friday night, a friend of a friend, and I completely forgot about him. He's like, yeah, you gave me those Killer Loop sunglasses. I'm like, Killer Loop? No, that wasn't me. Yeah, it was you. Killer Loop. I'm like, we kill suckers. Yeah, that's it.
Killer Loop.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I'll look into that. That's fun. Those weren't the best quality.
You know what? I looked into sunglasses for the podcast, looking to get some swag made up, and it was just like the stuff that I could afford. It was just like, you might, you get like. They're the kind of glasses that you wear to the beach, and if you lose them, you're just like, well, that's fine. Move on. Like, they're... Sunglasses aren't cheap, man. They're not cheap to get made.
Also, a super important thing, like, I mean, we make this thing, we use this thing to protect our eyes, right?
Yeah.
But then we go and, like, there's been a trend in the paintball companies to have, like, really cheap sunglasses with the company logos on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a couple of brands that has just thrown out sunglasses there, right?
Yeah.
And if you use sunglasses that are not like really good, you're going to damage your eyes in the sun. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Some like cheap sunglasses is no different than just not wearing sunglasses at all.
Exactly. And the eyes think that, okay, it's this dark now, so they adapt to that darkness, but they're not getting the protection from the sun, right? So it's kind of like you get way more damage than not wearing sunglasses, like you said. And so please do not use cheap sunglasses to keep your paintball vision optimal for as long as possible. And I'm 42 years old now, and I'm totally noticing like how my left eye is way more dominant now than the right, because the right is getting blurry, so I have to like use contact lenses when I play and so on. So if I wouldn't have been so much in front of the computer screen the last 15 years, I think I would have had way better vision, because you know how you train your dynamic when you look way over there, and then you look here, but with the computer screen it's always on the same distance, right? So you don't get that dynamic.
Yeah, your eyes just get used to it.
Yeah, super important to take breaks from the screen. I know it's hard, but try.
Right, just do it. Like, it's
Leave
absolutely.
that, put it to the side. Look around you. Look at nature. Look at everything around you. You're missing out if you don't, because there's a lot of cool things happening out there.
Yeah, there is. Go do some snowshoeing. That's what I want to do later this week, actually.
But you guys got a lot of snow?
Not a lot, not yet. We will. It's just starting now. I think we've got a little less than a foot, a little less than a little less than 30 centimeters on the ground. But right now it's been snowing then raining and then snowing, so it's sort of like it shows up, then it's gone, then it shows up. Yeah. But within a month, I'd say by the end of January, my front lawn will probably have 3 to 4 feet of snow on it.
Sweet.
So
you're definitely north of the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me too, brother.
Right? So that's where I got the snowshoes and just like throwing an audiobook and just go trudging through the woods. Go see what I can find. Go see if I can try not to get lost. So, um,
What's your favorite audiobook? I have to ask you.
What?
What's your favorite all-time favorite audiobook?
It's not obscure. I don't want to say like it's something you've never heard of, but no, it was a book. I originally read the first book and then blown away with it. So then I ended up getting the audiobooks, but it's a story. The book is called Wool, just Wool, Wool, Wool. It's one of those um, like dystopian future sci-fi kind of books. It's really hard to explain, but it's without giving away like how good the book is. But read the first chapter. Just look it up. It's just called Wool. You'll know it's the right one when they're talking about people living in missile silos. That everyone lives in silos.
Yeah.
So it was just like I read the first chapter, and the way the first chapter is written, when you get to the end of it, it's just this massive cliffhanger, and you're just like, I have to finish the book. Like it's
Here's a fun thing for the viewers that might not listen to audiobooks is it's like the best thing ever to listen to if you're doing drills. If you're by yourself, if you go to the park and just like do slide drills, or if you're standing in front of the mirror and you want to work on your snapshot, you can do that and get this super good fiction book read to you at the same time.
Yeah, I'm right now. I'm in the middle of listening to Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology. So it's all the stories, the adapted stories from Norse mythology, and there's something about walking through the woods in the winter, listening to stories about Thor and Odin, and you're just like, yeah, this is where I belong.
And I think it's like the most awesome way of multitasking you can
absolutely. Yeah.
And the way you get into audiobooks is so different from when you read a book, and it's so simple to do because the one that reads the book to you is such a good reader, or is it called narrating, or anyway, you follow the book way better than you could ever do if you read it yourself.
Yeah, I've got that bad habit where I'll read a page and then immediately forget everything I just read. I looked at the page for like a minute and a half. I didn't read it. I just saw words, but nothing sticks. So I have to.
Invented the best way of getting your paintball drills down is to combine them with an audiobook. I wish I knew that back in the days. I would have probably trained twice as much if I was listening to audiobooks.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try listening to some audiobooks while training. That was one of my goals for the winter was to sharpen my basically non-existent speedball skills. Yeah. So
I must tell you the best one that I listened to. I listened to it a month or two ago. It's called Kepler, Kepler, and it's very similar to like the one the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yep.
The Millennium Trilogy. It's like a Swedish author, and these are almost or even better than that author. And it's the first time I had nightmares in like 20 years. It was like so like scary. Not like it was like it's not no science fiction or nothing.
Yeah, it's not horror. It's more psychological thriller, like more like gets into your head.
Yeah. So be careful with what audiobook you choose.
Yeah, but for sure.
It was totally worth it.
Yeah, it would be. Man, I'm gonna check that out. Okay, Kepler. I'm gonna look that up.
There's a bunch of them.
So there's a couple of comments here near the end. First of all, everyone's calling out the big company with the bad sunglasses. I'm not going to say it on the air, but they're in the comments. And
everyone knows.
Right? Nobody's tagged them. They're just like there's just little words popping up, and I'm like, all right, yeah, you guys know who they are. Taylor is asking for see if the OPPA and if the Ontario Kingpins can get a shout out from Bunker Kings.
Yeah.
Right?
Go. Yeah, I miss. I wish I could be up there with you guys and just hang out with you guys. Because I did a paintball school in Montreal, and I've been to Ontario and Toronto a bunch. I did this huge big game north of Ontario, Toronto. I played skyball a bunch of times. Won skyball 2 times actually. It was fantastic to play inside and a huge arena, the Sky Dome. It was so freaking cool, and that was one of the biggest events. First really big event Joy Division played was skyball.
Nice.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the biggest experiences for me in my whole life to come over to Toronto and play an indoor event in this humongous arena. So yeah, my Canadian paintball experience has been nothing but absolutely fantastic. Oh, and they also at that event, the first one we went to, I think it was '98, they had this this paintball rapper. It was so cool. He had like a gazillion chains on him. He looked like Mr. T.
A paintball rapper. Did you get his name?
Yeah.
What was his name?
I forgot.
When was this? How long ago was this?
98. I think it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 98. And he was like, all I want to do is play paintball. So
I have to find this person now. I have to find this.
Here's freestyling. But it's cool. Like at that time, there was so many people, so many players, like so many people with so much drive trying to do so much for the sport. And I hope that that drive comes back. And there are still so many people that do so much for the sport. And we call them fire souls in Sweden, because they burn so hard for what they do. So, you know.
Absolutely.
I think
Taylor's losing his mind in our chat. Holy God. He's fanboying super hard. And
Cool.
lastly, we got William Gordon, who is the head president, dude, the guy that runs what's called the OPPA, the Ontario Paintball Players Association. Something like 2,000 or 3,000 players strong.
OPPA.
Yeah, the OPPA. Yeah, just shy of 2,000 players strong.
Yeah, you know me. You got an OPPA.
Right?
Naughty by Nature. Look it up, kids. Very good hip hop band from back in the days. OPP. A.
There's oh God, people are losing it over that. And he wants to know. He wants one of those Halo masks. He wants to raffle it off for his membership.
Oh, the Master Sarge.
Yeah, the Master Sarge.
OPPA. I'll write that down in my little notepad and see what we can do.
Yeah, hit up William Gordon of the OPPA. He's a solid dude. He also does. He also runs a website called playersfirst.ca, which is
awesome. What was his name again? Sorry.
William Gordon.
What was it? William at OPPA and
playersfirst.ca.
I love that name, Players First.
Yeah, it's awesome. The dude is a monster. With
you don't make a website called Players First unless you have your heart in the right place.
So I had him on the show last week. He quit his full-time job to become a full-time promoter of paintball.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the guy is hardcore. He's solid dude. So
good job.
We are nearing the end. I want to give a quick couple of shout outs. First of all, we got to give a quick shout out to the people that make this show possible. Tier1armament.com. They're Canada's MagFed distributor, MagFed paintball distributor. They are the ones that get the MagFed paintball gear to your dealers. They also offer a whole lot of cool stuff for airsoft, soft goods, grinds, which is a coffee substitute for chewing tobacco.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
We have, by the way, we have the best snooze in the world in Sweden. So I hope we can get it. Do you guys have it there, by the way?
Have what?
Or do you know snooze? Oh, never mind.
No, I think I know.
Use tobacco so too much, so we're not going to promote it on air. Sorry about that.
Is that
SNU?
Yeah. We call it dip. Chewing tobacco. Yeah. It's the same. Except it's for people who are trying to get away from it. It's coffee grinds. So you take that and put it in your lip. Yeah, it's coffee grinds in like these little satchel bags, and it gives you like a kick of caffeine instead of a kick of nicotine.
Oh, can you get it with like cappuccino flavor?
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Let me see what I can find here. Tier 1 armament.
Like 5 cups of coffee a day would be good to take.
Yeah, trust me, like it's bad. I'm horrible for it. These guys do so. Tier 1 Armament, great company, Canadian-based company. They're that's solid dudes. They look after us pretty good, and Does
it taste similar to the dip?
Yeah, except it's coffee. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Except I can't find it anywhere.
And coffee is good for you. It has a bunch of antioxidants and stuff. And nicotine is very bad for you. So like if you can get the same effect and be healthy, that's amazing.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, so they've got you can get the 3-pack. They've got wintergreen, caramel, and mocha.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Right, it's super cool. It's called Grinds. It's called Grinds. So definitely, yeah.
If you play paintball and smoke, it's definitely a very good day to stop smoking and improve your game. And try this fantastic coffee dip. Do you have the links in the show notes?
Yeah. It's I've got them tagged in the description. So you just go to Tier 1 Armament Facebook page, or you can go to their website and you can find that stuff there. It's good stuff. I'm hoping to get hold of it.
Yeah, I used to be addicted to nicotine, and it's not good at all.
Yeah, no, it's rough stuff, man.
The day when I got off it was like a whole new life. I was young, I was stupid, I didn't know better, but
right. It was cool. It was the cool thing to do.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Right. And you can get
actually that's one of the few things that I look back at, or one of the many things I look back at and feel embarrassed about. Like you do make a lot of mistakes when you're young, but that's one that I really, really, really regret. Using nicotine cigarettes.
Yeah, it's rough stuff, man. So the other people that we need to give a massive shout out to is our Patreon supporters. So Mary, Ryan, Sizzle, Dave, Sage, Jeff, Alex, Dr. Rush, Tony, Tim, and Justin. Our current Patreon supporters. So patreon.com/Maritime Milson Podcast. I got to fix that. I got to change that. If you want to become a Patreon supporter, it helps us keep the lights on. It helps us try and get some swag put together. It helps us pay the bills for this podcast, essentially. It's not cheap to operate this thing. It's not free, that's for sure. But yeah, it helps us do some stuff. So we are forever grateful for the Patreon supporters. It's awesome.
Cool.
So huge shout out to those people. Yeah, we're pretty much at the end. So folks, thanks for hanging out. Max, thanks for coming on to the show, man. It was awesome talking to you. Learned a lot. Learned a lot more than I thought I would. I was really excited about that. And, Bunker Kings is awesome. Keep going. That mask looks killer. Just wicked, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing it in person.
Here it is.
Yeah. But because what I'm thinking is like, there's a space right here that I think that
the dark side.
Done. All right, let's do it. I'm thinking it would look real nice right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right between the two i4s there. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. I'll get one. I'll get hold of one. It's gonna happen. So yeah, Max, thanks for coming on, man. There was
snow clears from the roads and the trucks can reach your town.
Yes, I will personally shovel the roads to make sure. I will be out in front. I will make it happen.
Yeah.
But man, learned a lot. Thank you so much for coming on. This was a blast, absolute blast. And folks, go check out Bunker Kings. Check out their Kickstarter. You know, if you still want to back the project, there's 15 days to go. Get in there, show some support. Check out check them out on Facebook as well, I guess. But check out their website. They got a ton of cool stuff, man. Killer hats, T-shirts. They got pod packs. You got protection. You got marker gear. You got barrel swabs. Everything. All sorts of stuff there. So definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, please follow on Instagram if you have the time and if you feel like it, then please do follow us. That every little thing helps so much, and I'm very much like that website, Players First. I don't do this for money. I do this because I love the sport and I love the feeling of that I get from coming up with new cool stuff, and I will keep trying to develop new things constantly. I have a couple of cool projects in the pipeline, so
awesome.
We'll see in the beginning of 2019, and some take a little bit longer time to develop, so maybe towards the end of the year, but we'll keep innovating as much as we can.
That's wicked, dude. That's awesome. Once you have some new stuff to talk about, we'll bring you back on the show. We'll talk about it. I want to see new stuff. I want to hear about new stuff. Love new shit. It's awesome. All right, folks. It's been a blast. It's been an absolute blast. Thanks everyone for hanging out. For those of you who've been sitting there commenting this entire time, I love it. I appreciate it. For those of you that shared, thank you so much. And anyone listening on your favorite podcasting app, thanks for hanging out and listening to us. Thanks for the download of the stream, however we did it. Either way, we appreciate it. So that's it, folks. Until next week, we're out of here. Cheers.
Thank you.